Okay, you guys, we're having this debate today.
Yeah.
You do first thing in the morning. Leave a comment below, subscribe, I get these little polls and these little,
Knickknacks.
like these, like the stress that people are feeling in, I mean, we live in the world, and, the things happening around us and all that, and sometimes we need someone to point out something to, like, maybe we're not quite seeing or hearing something.
Help get her done.
But just like getting on the phone with someone that might, even just a simple phone, like you're not even sharing air with them, you're not sharing the surroundings with a person, you're just on the phone with the person. And the thing is that when we keep suppressing our emotions and we're upset and we're stressed and stuff, if we don't get that out in a healthy way, we tend to explode and start rattling up. And the thing is that we have to vent. We have to get it out, or we have to journal, or we have to meditate, or we have to figure out a way to stop suppressing these emotions. Stress after stress after stress after stress. It's almost like taking a balloon and attaching it to the faucet and letting the water run. Eventually that balloon's gonna bust. So, and there's been a lot of that out there. I've been seeing that, I've been feeling it from other people. The fear, the stress, the patience. The patience, there just isn't any out there today. And I totally understand it. I was with someone, and he's doing that because I'm going to share this with you today. When you get around that person that just nags. This is one thing I have to know. Nag. Running out of time. Okay. Well, anyway, the nagging takes away. It does. It's wasted energy when you're nagging on nitpicking little things. You're wasting that energy, and you're missing the important things. That's the distractions of the devil trying to distract you so you don't see or hear or whatever's going on. So, I don't like living a chaotic life. I like calmness. I like to wake up calmly. I talk to Jesus as soon as I start waking up. Before my feet even hit the floor, I'm speaking, and I and the Spirit's having a conversation, just as I become conscious. Okay, what's the first thing that you do, when you wake up in the morning? 90% of you people pick up this phone, and it's such a distraction.
And Facebook. Check out Facebook.
It's such a distraction. It's such an addiction, and it takes our energy away and distracts us from what is important. And it's not the nitpick and judging; it's noticing and having awareness.
I got myself an Alexa.
And doing something about, we're all together to help one another. It may feel like we're being picked on, or things just seem so rough, and the stress is just so intoxicating that you cannot make a choice. You couldn't even. I'll watch some people and I feel them. I mean, I feel them before I see them. It's kind of like I close my eyes so I can see. And I'll feel them before I hear them or see them. And it's just like this gentleman today. Boy, he's only going to wait 15 minutes, and if he didn't get called to go back in the appointment, he was leaving, and he was just going on. And when you hear someone like that, even though it might be aggravating to you, maybe because you're not in that place anymore, or maybe you never have been, and this person is just nagging and complaining, they're relieving the stress that they've kept
suppressed.
Maybe this gentleman lives alone, and he don't have time for, and that's what he says, I don't have time for the beep beep the BS. So, which was really kind of cool, because I started speaking to him, and of course I was connecting with him. That's what I was doing. And I didn't even realize what was going on until after he was called to go in. He had been there well over 15 minutes. It was almost like I was a distraction for him so he could vent until they were ready to call him and take him in. So it's a blessing even when someone's in pain, you know, and suppressing emotions can damage the soul. It can.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you become an adult, you know, you need to start addressing that and you know, not pretending that it doesn't exist, because pretending it doesn't exist doesn't mean that it's not there.
So how do we stop them suppressing? How do we depress that?
Well, most of the time, yes, it does help to talk. But then there's also a medium in there. It's, you know, there's ones that just keep on talking, and you cannot hear that soft, still voice. Okay, and he keeps doing that because I told him, you know what? I'm gonna nag you all day long. Nag. And I'm telling you, I've been on a roll. I sure have been on a roll today. I've aggravated. I said, shoot, I'm out of practice, but boy, I sure can be aggravated, can't I? So anyway, it's one of those things. So, but you have to find that moment that you gotta calm. You can't be constant chaos all the time, because I guarantee you will create so much mess. You know, if you do not have time to meditate and listen to that soft, still voice. Last year I wasn't meditating every day. For the past 2 weeks I've been meditating every day, almost all day long. So I miss when you do that and you start centering and getting into yourself and doing some self-work, okay, and you're in meditation, in a deep, relaxed state of meditation, and there's no other thoughts whatsoever coming in at all, and this takes practice, then you can hear. A lot of people run around and say, I just don't hear God. I don't know what that's like. How is that, you know? And it's really sad, because the thing is that when there's chaos and there's noise, you're never going to. You can't hear it. So if you're hypertensive, I've been hypertensive most of my life. So, but that's the thing, is that you gotta balance it, because if you're hypertensive, too hyper, you got high blood pressure. If you're not, you know, energetic enough, you got low blood pressure, you know. But anyway, you have to have that time. That's why the Lord says, you know, He gives you that rest day.
That happy medium.
That rest day. You have to rest. And the thing is that if you want a relationship, a deep relationship to the truth and to the divine spirit, it's an everyday thing. It's a consistency thing. You can't just do it for a couple of years and say, oh, well, that's it. Because it's all the time. It's consistency. If you do that, then you stop growing. And the bad thing about it is that if you stop the consistency, you not only stop growing, but you go backwards. And then you'll like start making some improvement, and then you'll stop, and you're right back to where you started again. And it's like that freaking yo-yo, boing, 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 boing. If you don't keep that consistency, you know, it's like, okay, I'll meditate for 2 weeks, and that's all I got to do for the rest of my life. Meditation. So, anyway, and it is really hard. It's really hard when you get away from it and then try to come back again. And
when you got distractions around.
There's distractions. There'll always be distractions.
Family medical.
You know, and that's the thing when it comes to a spiritual awakening. The thing is that when it comes to spiritual awakening, the spirit brings in a remembrance, and then you become awakened, and you realize that you've been under attack even when you didn't realize it. So that's the spiritual awakening, is that, okay, I'm awake now. I'm seeing things that I didn't see before. And that's good, because it's a breakthrough, you know. And I'll pause like that a little bit, because I'm seeking advice from the Spirit.
Wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. Of how to word things, and it's a healing process as well. But the thing is, the more you do it, and the more you get centered and start working on yourself, the less aggravated and the less stressed that these things will pop up in your life. In other words, you already got stress to begin with, but then when you pile that stress on and you don't deal with it, it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then accidents happen. And it's also a way to the Spirit communicates with the body. If you're ignoring a certain part that wants attention, it's kind of like a child. If you ignore that child will shut down. And self-work it's not easy, but it's very simple. And once you start doing it, you'll get this passion. And I mean, there's no other addiction out there that's better than that, connecting to the Spirit. Because when you connect to the Spirit, you can also connect to your loved ones and people that are in need miles and miles away. Or, like I said, I'll talk to people on the phone and I can read their voice and their tone of voice. It's almost, nowadays, it's almost exactly like it would be if I was in the room with you and feeling your energy and having our energy fields being connected in. And I'll read what that person might be stressing about or what they're doing. And a lot of times we don't even know it's there. And then when someone points it out, we might get offended, and the thing is, that's the ego. We'll get offended about it, and the thing is that once we're not offended, we can actually say, yeah, that is something. And repenting every day is essential. David did it every day. Every single day, David did it.
King David.
Yeah. Even when he wasn't king, he did it.
He's the one that slew Goliath.
Oh. I'll quit smoking and start back up again. I can't help it. I'm going to have to clip that out. Anyway, I'm back. There's a lot of dubbing in this. Anyway, I got allergies. And I've been having anyway, I got to stop smoking. And then I stop smoking and go back to smoking again. And anyway. Conscious smoking, if you guys are interested, maybe interested in a video about conscious smoking, picking up those little triggers that make you pick up a cigarette. It might not even be your emotions, that why you pick up a cigarette. It might just be a habit of, getting in the car and driving down the, or waking up in the morning and having a cigarette with your coffee. So,
Not me.
Anyway, yeah, I'm picking up my dad. My dad just had surgery, so plenty of prayers out there would be really, really, really great. I'd be really grateful for the prayers. Daddy's system is not wanting to. It's been a while since his internals have worked properly, so they're not wanting to work properly. So, but anyway, we're going to pick him up. He got through surgery. He had a hernia. So, he sounds really in good spirits, but he is coming home with, what was that called? What is it called? A catheter. They're sending him home with a catheter. And boy, I remember when they did that to me, and I mean, my systems broke down. This is like 7 years ago. My system just stopped working. So, they had to send me home with the catheter for it was about a month. It was during Christmas. Actually, it was 10 years ago, because Sophie's 10 years old, and Sophie was just born when that happened. So, and it was kind of cool, because we'd go Christmas shopping in one of the little carts. Sophie was in one of those little carts too, and we'd be eye to eye. So anyway, maybe I'll go ahead and stick a picture on in here at the end of the video of that, because I have pictures of that actually. So anyway, but yeah, that's what it's all about, is just coming together and reminding each other to breathe, you know, to come together and connect and get strong and magnify God so that we can get through the stuff that we're doing. And that's why we ask people to pray for us, you know, because other people aren't as emotionally involved, and their prayers are more effective for you than your own prayers would be. I have a video up on that too. If you're here and this is, you know, you're from my old channel, Life Changing Grace, this is the same channel, just different, LCG, Divine Healing. That's the thing, I have videos on Life Changing Grace. Speaking of tactics and how our prayers are so effective for other people and everything, and then when we go and we're trying to pray for ourselves, or we even forget that, you know what, we need a little prayer too, and then we forget to throw ourselves into those prayers. So that definitely, you know, when we ask for prayers, that's what we're doing, is we're too emotionally involved, and we're not seeing any prayers being
The big picture.
yeah, any prayers being effective, you know, because you're too emotionally involved. You know, and emotionally involved, it could be anger, frustration, upset, anything that is an emotional stress. It's almost like when you're emotionally stressed about praying for yourself or a loved one that you're emotionally tied up in, your prayers aren't being heard because it's that emotional blockage right there that you can't bust through the heavens so that the Lord can hear your prayers. It almost feels like that. So that's why we come together in twos and we ask people, you know, hello. No, it looks like I got a black eye, but anyway, it's just makeup, you guys. So maybe I'll adjust that. Get it? He's so rough. He really is. He drives like a maniac. He just got, anyway. He got juice all over the place. You swear that, you know, he don't know how to clean up after himself, but anyway. Yeah, he did. He wiped his cards down and everything. But anyhow, I hope you guys have a good day. I love the clouds and the weather like this. I really do. I love it. I adore this kind of weather. But it makes people a little cranky out there, you know, and they're impatient. You know, he thinks I'm cranky. He's everything that I've been doing today is nothing but an act. Nothing but an act, and trying to give him a dose of his own medicine. And you know, sometimes you have to do that, you know, with adults, children, you know, you have to show them what it feels like. If they're picking on someone, you got to do it back to them or something like that.
Oh,
so that
that's
they
what you
know.
think, picking on you, huh?
So that they know that, well, look, you know, treat others the way you want to be treated. Would you want to be treated like that and nagged at or poked at? Or when you have siblings, you know, you're doing something to your siblings that you know that if they were doing it to you, you'd be pretty doggone mad. So, you know, it's like, it's that subconscious child that needs to be dealt with. So, and sometimes we're not mature enough to do that, and somebody else has to do it for us. So, anyway, it's one of those things. And I've been on a roll today. Boy, have I been on a roll today. I'll tell you what. I'm talking about all kinds of things. But, you know, blessing people because they're aggravated. And that's the thing. It's like, I was on the phone with someone last night. And it was, you know, and I'm getting better at it. I'll get that little pull and that key that, okay, this person really needs just to have somebody listen to them and let this person vent. Okay, whether it be anger, aggravation, stress, just let them vent. And I do. I vent on him a lot. You know, I like told him send me the bill in the mail, but anyway, ain't gonna work. But that's the thing, is that when we have someone that we trust and we can vent out at, okay, and it doesn't, and the thing is the person that's there for that person that's venting, okay, who cares if you understand what they're saying? Okay, and 9 times out of 10 when we're venting, we're not asking somebody to fix our problems. We're just trying to get that frustration out so that it doesn't make us sick inside. And if you're anything like I used to be, I would hold things in for so long that when I finally did vent, I would vent and I would get deeply sick. My stomach, I'd really get really, really sick. So, it's one of those things. We just have to have remorse and don't always have to understand things from other people's perspective. And we get in that habit always trying to find what the other person's going through and say that we're going through the same thing. We get in that habit, that fleshly habit of saying, oh, me too. Oh, yeah, that's just like me too. You know, that connection, because the flesh needs a connection. And all this that's going on out there is, what is it? Division. You know, this putting masks on, not getting people. I'm a person that likes to shake your hand and say, hello, it's so nice to see you. I ain't seen you forever, you know. Get a huggy, you know, tap, tap. But now it's like more like this, and it's like other people are like, no, we don't do that anymore. Back off, get away from me. And I like that distance too. It's so wonderful to go shopping and not have people boom, boom, boom. You know, they're actually trying to stay their distance, and that makes it a lot better for, you know, holiday shopping, you know.
You got my thing. No.
I guarantee you there ain't gonna be no. Well, I wouldn't guarantee that, because anyway, what do they got that Christmas time or Thanksgiving time, and they got that special thing, and they go and they have fights in the store over these certain things. Black Friday or something like that. Anyway, it's one of those things. But yeah, I like the distance, but I also like to, you know, touch and heal people. So, but then I realize I don't have to touch them, you know, but I have to get them to have it, you know, because it's consistency. And what is that one word I was thinking about last night? You have to get used to doing things spontaneously. Like, you feel that tug. Why would you want to go in that store? So you expect that you're going to, like, spontaneously, like, out of the blue. You know, you don't know why you took that turn, you know, to go to that store.
You'd be saying, what are you doing? Listen to your inner child?
He's backwards because he just doesn't get it. He really don't. He doesn't get it. I don't even know what you're talking about. And you talking like that, now I know that you just don't get it. Yeah, that's what it is. He just doesn't get it. But anyway, it has nothing to do with it. See, the thing is that when your inner child, when your soul is in pain, or a lot of times it's something that happened to you or something that you didn't get when you were little. Okay, so you go through your whole, and a lot of people do this, they go through their whole entire life, okay, trying to find something outside of them to bring them joy and happiness. Okay, and the thing is that even if we care for the person and we're hurting so bad because we've been neglected in some way, or we're lacking something in some way, and we're trying to find it in someone else, okay, that, if you really think about it and putting that kind of responsibility on anyone else, because the thing is that you can't control other people. And the thing is if you can't work on yourself and you can't help yourself, you ain't gonna help anybody, and ain't nobody gonna help you. Not really. So the thing is that when you're putting a load and such a pressure on demand on somebody else for your joy and your happiness, that's just, it's destruction. It's destruction before anything begins. Because that's not love, because it's kind of like, how dare you even try to put that responsibility on another person? Because the thing is, no matter who you are, okay, and I know that you can reflect on this, no matter what you do, who you are, who you're with, you can't seem to do anything right to make them happy. And that's because they haven't done the work themselves inside themselves. They're still looking for someone else to do it for them. Okay, and I know that sounds really kind of like harsh, but literally that's what it is. It's because you've lacked in a certain area of your life. Okay, and most of the time we don't know where it's at. And it doesn't matter. All we know is that there's healing that must be done. And we can choose to work on ourselves. Because if we are looking for joy of any pleasure that is not you, because you're in control, you got choice. You yourself can control yourself. But you cannot determine, you cannot control another person. No matter what. You can't. You can try till you're freaking blue in the face, or you get yourself in the hospital with a heart attack because you're trying to control everything that's going on around you and the people that are in your life. You cannot do it. That's the most destruction. The devil will use that, and it's such a smokescreen. He will use that to destroy everything that you're trying to do. So, anyway, that got a little heavy there for a minute. Anyhow, but I feel this tug and stuff like that. It could be someone in my family. It could be someone that I've talked to on the phone. It could be someone that I haven't even talked to for like a year or something. Or it might not be for none of you guys. It might be for someone that's out there that just feels like they're in it alone, and they feel like just giving up. And you need that extra push. And it's like that tough love thing, because that's what a coach is. That's what a life coach does. That's what sons and daughters do. We give you that encouragement and we push you to do, because we know that you can do better than what you think you're doing. So, and the only reason why we are so hard on ourselves and we think we're unworthy is because we've allowed other people to have opinions about what we've done. Especially when you're a child, if you're doing, and maybe there was a certain language and someone was so hard on you, and all you wanted them to do was love you, and it felt like they hated you. But in their way of looking, in their perception, they're loving you like that in a tough way, and they just don't know how to give something that they don't have. You know, if you don't have that passion and you've never had that love, then if you've never had that, then how can you have it to give to anybody else? So, anyway, you agree with me down below. I'm telling you, he poked me in my eye.
Oh!
He did. He poked me in my eye.
She's
joshing.
She's joshing.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh.
It's all right. She hit me on my arm. Let me see if I got a bruise on my arm here. Maybe I might.
What are brothers and sisters for? Jeez.
Mom makes me take her everywhere. You see that? Mother abused.
Anyway,
Mom makes me take her everywhere.
And I love it. I love it. And the thing is that when I do get out, I'm, you know, and when I get out, I want to expect that I'm going to run into somebody that needs a blessing or something like that. Even if it's just in my head, because you also have to realize, too, if there's animosity from your past in somebody else's life, or you did something with them, or at one point in time in your life, you've had an argument, and you haven't exactly settled it, you just pushed it off to the side and tried to forget it. It is still there. The feelings and the emotions, all you did is push them down and you didn't deal with them. So they're always going to be there, so that when there's a trigger to make you angry at someone, you're going to take out what you hadn't finished before, and it's just going to keep piling up. So, and fortunately, we do this to our loved ones, and sometimes it's better just not to say anything, not even bless them, not even to say anything, not even to tell them what you expect God to do for them. You know, sometimes it's just best to let them tell you what they feel, and then and this is what I do, I'll feel their emotions, and I'm like, okay, I remember when I felt like that. Now, the details might be different, but I feel that emotion, and I've been there before. So that's how I can kind of trigger. That's how the Spirit connects us. We've all got this ability. When I tell you that I do this stuff, and everyone has this growth ability to get there too. Okay, and to me sometimes it's just like, it doesn't take a genius to read somebody's body language or to see their eyes. I look at people's eyes, even in a picture, and I can read what maybe they might have thought about at that time. It's really kind of cool. I did that a few years ago, actually, and it was kind of cool, you know. I was just playing with it a little bit, and because you can see pain in people's eyes, you know, even if they got a smile on their face, you can really see when they're needing, when that spirit's searching for somebody so their soul can heal. They're really searching for that person to make that connection so they can bust through and heal. So, anyway, I got a little bit sidetracked there for a minute, but anyway, you have a problem with your phone again? Anyhow, we're in Ocala right now, and it's been such a pleasure you spent some time with me, and I'm hoping that some of these videos help us connect, because it's not by coincidence that you would, you know, that I'm talking about this or something, or and like I said, I study books and stuff like that so I can better equip myself, so I can communicate with you guys, and so I can try to express the experiences that I have with the Spirit, and how the Spirit, and the thing is that if we didn't have anything but the Spirit, we'd all look the same, we'd all talk alike, we'd all be the same. So when we make that connection together, it ends up being the same Spirit, the one and one and only same Spirit, and that's the divine Spirit. And then that's how you know that if it's, because you got to test your spirits. Okay, that's how you know if that one person's not exactly with the divine Spirit, and there's another spirit toying with their emotions and their mind, or whatever might be happening in their life. I mean, maybe they're having car wrecks after car wrecks, or accidents after accidents, or it just seems like for some reason this week or this month you're so clumsy, and all this accidents keep happening. Okay, it's more or less of these accidents are trying to slow you down, because so loud. Anyway, distractions, that's what I'm talking about. Distractions, almost always in every single one of my videos, you will see a distraction. Every distraction, if you look at every distraction, will make you grow and be more stronger in the Spirit, because God really has a plan for you, and the Spirit really needs you to grow into, and not just helping yourself, but when you help yourself, you imagine and you realize that once you've helped yourself, how many other people you'll be able to help. Not with even your words, but just from, what do you always say? Be a good example. So when you're an example, that really kind of like, set you where you need to be. But he's got a real big problem about centering this GPS thing. I'm always yelling at him about it. Just don't get it. Anyway, there we go. Anyhow, we were talking about that last night too. It's like, if you yell, and I'm a yeller. I've yelled at my kids a lot, and then when I know I'm stressed inside, I'll just let it out, because I'd rather let it out than for it to stay in and me get sick and get even more mad. And you'll feel it's like a boiling pot of water. The more you don't address these things and take time for yourself, and it just keeps piling and piling and piling. So if you're yelling, if you're a yeller, that's great, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that if you have little children, and if you think about it, even as an adult, say you're doing something, someone comes up behind you and yells and startles you, you're going to jump, and you're most likely going to forget what you were thinking about, and you're going to forget about what you were doing. Here I go, tongue-tied. Anyway, you're going to forget what you were thinking about, or what you were doing, or what. When a child gets into something, say it's something dangerous or something, I totally understand that, and it just sets you off screaming. Now, when you yell at somebody, distraction after distraction, you guys just got to be noticed, don't you? Probably, you know, and that's an insecurity problem, you know, with everyone wants their cars to be really, really loud. You know, it's like, yeah, I need some attention. I didn't get enough attention when I was little, or whatever the case may be. But anyway, and then you realize when you get older, you look at the things that you did and you're like, God, I looked like a fool. But when you yell and say that a child's getting into a drawer that might have something dangerous in it, and you're like, you yell at them, it startles them. And the thing is that a child, especially a child 8 or under, is not going to remember what he did wrong and why you just got done yelling at him. They will be, so the yelling and the whooping of the butt or anything like that, it will not register in the brain. They will not know. They will totally forget what they did before you yelled at them and jumped on them.
I disagree.
Well, you ain't had that many kids.
No.
Now I've taken kids and I've yelled and I put them in the corner and they can't remember why they ended up in the corner. I've done a lot of studies, biology and studies, especially the young children and how our brains work when we're born. Especially even when the baby is in the womb. Okay, it is getting ready, and it can hear things. It is getting ready for when it is born to come into its environment. Okay, so that's how the body will change for its environment. It's like if you live here in Florida and you go up north, it's going to take you a year or so to get used to the coldness. Or if you go from up north and you come down here,